Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Vinland Politics. Today we have a lot of news stories to cover, from a commercial airline crash with an Army helicopter to Senate confirmation hearings for Tulsi Gabbard, Kash Patel, and Robert F. Kennedy Jr., as well as some interesting stories going on between Trump and the Congress. There's a lot of news to cover today. I thank you for joining me. As always, here at Vinland Politics, we pride ourselves on giving the facts first with commentary last. Let's begin our in-depth analysis today. The first news story we'll be diving in today is a tragic plane crash near Washington, D.C. This crash occurred between an American Airlines commercial airliner that was carrying 64 people and an Army Black Hawk helicopter, which had about 3 pilots on board. No survivors have been found, and it's estimated at this point that no survivors will be found. 27 bodies were recovered. I'll put a clip on screen now of the plane crash itself. It's very interesting stuff to see, right? We'll dive into this more in the commentary section, but I just wanted to show you guys that, again, it is a hard watch. Officials say that there were no flight path deviations, that these are regular routine flights for both of the aircrafts. This has a lot of implications behind it for future FAA and regulations going on concerning flight paths and Army flight paths. Just a lot of implications to consider here in this story with an unfortunate loss of life. My prayers are with all of the families impacted by this and with the loss of life that we did receive last night. It's an unfortunate story to be sharing on a somber Thursday morning. Speaking of Washington, D.C., though, we also have a story this morning for high-stake confirmation hearings occurring in the Senate. We have 3 big hearings to look out for. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is being confirmed for the Health Secretary nominee. He's been facing intense questioning from both sides of the aisle on whether or not he's a conspiracy theorist, about his questioning of vaccines, and whether or not he will be receiving funding from health organizations. A lot of topics to discuss within that realm. Kennedy seems to be handling the questions all right. Depends on which media outlet you look at. To my right here, we have Fox News glorifying RFK's responses, and to my left, we have CBS News really ragging on his responses. So it's very interesting, you know, depending on which news source you're looking at, really guides how his responses have been. We'll dive into more in the commentary section how I feel Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s responses have been, but that's a story for later. Tulsi Gabbard is also being confirmed for the Director of National Intelligence. She's being scrutinized for her support of Snowden and what that may mean for foreign adversaries. Again, this is being twisted a bit into her having loyalty to foreign adversaries, but then again, Snowden was also a big whistleblower that exposed a lot of secret workings going on in the government. It's hard to say whether or not this could be a bad thing for Tulsi Gabbard. We'll go into that more in the commentary section. The last nominee I wanted to mention is Kash Patel. He's being nominated for the FBI director. His confirmation hearing has been a little less climactic than the other two. The main discussion going on is a list of 60 names he had. He's claiming it is not a list of enemies, which could be problematic if you're an FBI director and you keep around a list of enemy names on you. But he ensures people that it is not a list of enemies. He is facing a lot of bipartisan skepticism, though, in his confirmation hearing. We'll dive into the confirmation hearings more in the commentary section and the implications they have. I just wanted to share that story with you. Connecting things with the Senate and the Congress, right, we also have been seeing a bunch of reports about Trump's power struggle with the Congress. It's known that Trump has signed over 300 executive orders at this point, and we are only 10 days into his new administration. A lot of people are seeing this as a big red flag for Trump trying to overpower the Congress and work around them. The report I have here is a congressional memo from the New York Times claiming exactly that Trump really wants to display his power and show that the Congress is not as needed as they might think. We'll dive into that more during the commentary section on how I feel about that, but it is definitely something to keep in mind that Trump has been bypassing Congress on a lot of key decisions, and whether or not that is a gross abuse of power as Democrats claim, well, that is left to discussion. The last story I wanted to leave you with today is one regarding Israel and Hamas, a bit unrelated to American politics itself, but it does still hold connections to our future decision-making here in the U.S. Israel has begun prisoner swaps with Hamas, exchanging over 100 Palestinian prisoners for hostages. The interesting thing about these Palestinian prisoners is that a lot of them were facing life sentences from the Israelis. The exchange was also nearly delayed due to security concerns from Hamas's militants, but thanks to some international mediators, the security was assured and the exchange did occur. Hopefully, future exchanges can continue. We'll dive into that more in the commentary section, what implications that may have towards the future. Again, not exactly related to American politics, but any international conflict, unfortunately, somehow gets intertwined into American politics. To give some personal commentary on these issues, I'd like to begin with the plane crash that occurred last night between the American Airlines flight and the Army Black Hawk helicopter. The loss of 67 lives is devastating no matter how you look at it, right? This is a very interesting crash, though, to see. Based on the video, there's a lot of confusing things that happened here. There clearly has to be some major piloting errors or possibly an ulterior motive, I'm not sure. I don't want to raise any conspiracy theories or anything, but this action will raise future concerns over air traffic protocols, right? Moving forward, what are we going to do to prevent these plane crashes from happening? This isn't the first plane crash to happen in a while either. We've been having a lot of plane crashes happening recently. And many people, many regular flight goers, are left with more questions than answers on how they can feel safe when flying. It's an unfortunate thing to be sure, and I'm sincerely sorry to all those that lost their life and to the families impacted by this. It's really heartbreaking to see something like that happen. Personally, I'm not the biggest fan of flying. I always have that fear in the back of my mind that I'm going to be the one in a million to crash, right? But it seems as things are progressing that number is getting a lot more realistic, and it's a big unfortunate thing that so many crashes have been happening recently, especially when they seem so avoidable, right? Between a military aircraft and a commercial airliner. It's just a lot of things aren't adding up in that story. Circling back to the confirmation hearing stories I was giving earlier, my commentary on the piece is that depending on what outlet you source your news from will really change how you view these confirmation hearings. I think I mentioned it a bit previously, but I was looking at some CBS News reports of the RFK hearings, right? And they're really blasting RFK, really trying to show that he can't answer any questions being thrown at him. Whereas whenever I see a Fox News report on the matter, it is that RFK is handling the questions swiftly and quickly, and that he's answering them to the best of his ability, and that the Democrats are wrong for throwing such heinous questions his way, right? So it's very interesting which source you look at. It will really change the view of these hearings. The Tulsi Gabbard hearing, I've only seen reports of that from the New York Times. And again, the New York Times does have a bit of bias towards the left, so a lot of things in that space are questioning her loyalty, questioning her support of foreign adversaries. Again, I don't think Tulsi Gabbard is a huge problem moving forward for her role. I just think that these are people doing their job. They have to question all the concerns before somebody is given such a powerful position. The last hearing from Kash Patel is a bit of an interesting one. This is another one that I've seen a bit on the news, but mainly sourcing it from the New York Times. Again, his enemy list is the biggest piece of contention for him. It is an interesting thing to just have a list of 60 names, even though he's claiming it's not an enemies list. I don't know what you would have a list of 60 names for regardless. I don't keep a name list on me at all regarding any of the people I know, even that of people I would consider enemies. It's just a very interesting thing to see. Again, I don't know too much about him as an actor in itself, but again, these hearings are standard procedure. Usually people get confirmed regardless of how the hearings go. They're usually messy. So it's just interesting to see, but please share your thoughts down below about how you feel about these confirmation hearings going on. Diving back into the Trump and the Congress story I was giving earlier, is this going to be a constitutional crisis? I do fear that Trump is making a lot of power moves against the Congress, right? Over 300 executive orders is no joke in just 10 days, especially with the birthright citizenship, the federal freeze on funding, even though it's not towards direct civilian funding, there has been that federal freeze, and Trump is doing this all through his direct action of executive orders. This is a bit concerning if you think about a checks and balance system. I don't think a president should be able to make every action he sees fit. There should always be checks and balances within a democracy. It is interesting to see Congress getting moved over so quickly, right? But then again, we do have the judicial system in place for a reason. A lot of these executive orders will go under scrutinization on whether or not they are constitutional, and then we will see their effectiveness from there. My personal beliefs are that as we move forward and some of these executive orders get struck down for their constitutionality, we'll see Trump have to cooperate a bit more with the Congress. And diving into our last story, the Israel-Hamas Prisoner Swaps. This is an interesting story to be sure, because it could indicate a future ceasefire. I know we're all hopeful for a long-term ceasefire and hopefully just an end to this conflict. It's unfortunate to see the loss of life that's happened there and the destruction of the towns happening there in the Gaza Strip. Just again, a very unfortunate situation. The implications, though, that it holds on U.S. politics are very big. It would be a huge source removed from our money spending if this conflict were to end. We would not have to give so much aid to Israel to keep fueling this unnecessary conflict. It's an interesting story to be sure. International mediators are really stepping up their game and trying to stop this conflict. I just think while this is a good thing, I think we have a lot of other conflicts going on in the world too that we need some international mediation on. The Ukraine and Russia conflict, for example. I saw a story from that last night, and it's just time for politicians to start doing their jobs, sitting down and working these things out, because no matter how many soldiers kill each other, the end result will always be the same. It takes two politicians to make a deal, regardless of how many deaths there are. That wraps up today's news stories here on Vinland Politics. What do you guys think? Please share your thoughts down in the comments below. I'm very curious. Again, this is only episode 2, so please feel free to share any concerns you may have about the show as we move forward. Again, I want to thank you all for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and take it easy out there.